Good morning. Welcome, everybody. We're absolutely delighted to see everybody here today. I'll try not to read too much from our scripts, but we want to stay on time and stay on focus. But really, we welcome everybody coming to our first in-person event here today. So, my name is Mark Fasington. Yeah, that's a round of applause. Everybody's very happy to be here instead of doing it all live, or do it virtually. So my name is Mark Fasington, and until about 8 weeks ago, I worked for First American, but I took retirement, so I'm still excited to be here and very privileged to have worked there during my career. I wanted to thank all our colleagues in the commercial real estate and building industry for coming together today with the United Way to reduce and prevent homelessness in the greater Hartford region. The idea for today's event really came from our colleagues up in Boston, and they've been partnering with the United Way of Massachusetts Bay and Merrimack Valley over the past 30 years to hold an event very similar to what we're doing here today. After attending that event, one of our colleagues, Ed Kindlin, who unfortunately isn't here today in person, but I understand he is virtually watching, came to Dave Sewell, who you'll hear from later, and me, a couple years ago and said, hey, what do you think if we try to do an event like this in Hartford? And as we got together and started thinking about it, we said, yeah, that's a super idea. We're definitely in. So our vision at that time was to hold an event that really brought the commercial real estate and the building industry together to really rally around a really important cause and at the same time have a great networking opportunity. And we thought what we would do is also at the same time acknowledge the incredible contributions of people in our industry to both the community and to the profession and come up with an annual award. So as we were kind of brainstorming together as a group, we were trying to think, geez, who better to name an award after than someone who sort of epitomized that type of stuff. And that was our late friend and dear colleague, Jeff Diegel. So Jeff embodied two key characteristics that to us represented what the mission for this event was all about. A commitment to the community through service and philanthropy, and a commitment to our profession. Both elements are critical with what we are here to do today. We'll share more about Jeff and his incredible legacy later in the program, and a portion of the proceeds raised today will be donated to Covenant Preparatory School, which he founded. As I look at you today, I'm thrilled, all of us in the committee are thrilled, and hopefully all of you are thrilled, that we have the opportunity to make this goal a reality. And we're proud to say that this will now become, hopefully, that's capital T, capital H, capital E, event for the commercial and real estate building industry. I did also want to acknowledge Ed Kindlin, who, as I said, is not here today, but really, it was his vision and his effort that really made this happen. So his role was tremendous in this. So as I mentioned before, last year, for those that were here, we actually had to do this as a virtual event, just due to the pandemic. So that really went well. In fact, we were completely blown away by the generosity and support of the industry. And last year, we raised over $300,000. So that was really a great thing. So to all those who were involved last year and this year, thank you for your support. Thank you for coming back. It is so good to finally be able to have an event like this in person. And for those joining us via live stream and at home or wherever you are, thank you also for tuning in. Now, an event like this doesn't happen just by deciding to open up the doors. We really need sponsorship. So this would not happen without the nearly 80 sponsors from our industry who have lent their support to this breakfast. We are so pleased this year to have 4 presenting sponsors, and we're going to hear from one of them now. Please join me in welcoming Sean Ray from presenting sponsor Trammell Realty.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. It's as I look out here, and I've been talking to folks this morning, it's really hard to believe that this is your second year only and first year in person. It looks like this is a crowd that's been gathering for years, if not decades, so congratulations on what's been put together and what there is yet to achieve. I'm thrilled to be here representing Trammell Residential and to be involved in such a fantastic event for our industry, the housing industry. It's great to be with all of you in person, raising critical funds to prevent and address homelessness in the greater Hartford area. And I would like to give a special heartfelt thanks to my friend Nando Peretti and the team at Cigna Realty Investors who connected our firm. We're based in Dallas, Texas, and we love participating in causes like this, and really credit Nando for connecting us with this effort, and excited to move forward to the future with this great cause. It is now my pleasure to introduce Alexandra Dahm, the Deputy Commissioner of the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development.
Good morning, everyone. A little loud there, but good morning. Thank you, Sean. So I am Alexandra Dahm, the Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Economic and Community Development. And Sean may not remember this, but I actually started my career at Trammell Residential. But I was a lowly peon back then, so I don't know how much Sean and I interacted. But I started my career as a multifamily developer working for TCR based out of California. And so I'm very happy to be in a room full of compatriots and fellow real estate junkies, as I like to think of myself. So we're here today to talk about such an important cause, and you might be confused why you're not looking at the Department of Housing Deputy Commissioner, and instead the Department of Economic and Community Development Deputy Commissioner. But we really feel that housing security, affordable housing, is an important part of economic development. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the ways that we put that policy and that philosophy into action. So our key mission at DECD is to grow the state economy. That's a gross oversimplification, but that's basically what we're here to do. And we've had a lot of wins in that department, which are worth celebrating. In Q4, the last reported quarter, the Connecticut GDP grew 7th fastest in the nation. So we're doing well. Connecticut is on the upswing. I hope you can all feel that. But it's really important that we don't just look at that top line growth and rest on our laurels and be happy with that. We want to make sure that we're understanding the nuance of which communities are growing, which communities are being brought along with that top line growth, and that we're not leaving anyone behind. Because we know all the terrible things that can happen when we leave specific communities and areas behind, including homelessness, and we're all here today to think about that and make sure that doesn't happen. So we give a lot of support to businesses at DECD, but we also have a lot of programs focused on grant making and lending to capital projects and for a whole host of uses. And many of our projects do involve housing. And we're getting to a place where in the past, perhaps it was a priority for DECD to encourage affordability. We're moving from encouraging and prioritizing to requiring. We don't want to fund DECD, we don't want state funding to go into, whether it's mixed use, whether it's fully residential projects, we don't want to see these projects go forward without some component of affordability to make sure that we're not just growing, we're not just supporting certain areas, we're really bringing everyone along with that growth, and we have that inclusivity and that equity. So I just want to thank everyone here today for supporting this important cause. I want to thank United Way for bringing us all together, for the sponsors that we're going to hear from and have heard from, and for everyone that's attending this morning. It's great to have everyone out 7 a.m. is a good wake-up call, so I appreciate you all out here for a good cause at 7 a.m. on a Thursday. So we couldn't be, DECD and the administration, the governor, we couldn't be more aligned with the mission here today, and we're not just philosophically aligned, but we're really putting these priorities into our funding, putting our money where our mouth is, and we look forward to partnering with many of you in this room to continue to make that happen. So thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you, Alex. That was tremendous. And again, thank you to everybody for being here today. Really, you're not only leaders in your respective industries, but you're really leaders in philanthropy as well. And that's really important. So, you know, in building this event, when Ed came to us and we sort of started talking about this, you know, we needed to partner with someone. And so we were very fortunate to partner with the United Way to help make that happen. And we really wanted to make a big impact with this important issue, and that really is preventing and addressing the issue of homelessness. So again, inspired by our late friend and colleague Jeff Diegel, we sought to create an opportunity in which our connection with one another would not only create a ripple effect here, but also have an incremental impact on the people in central and northeastern Connecticut. We know that recovery from the economic impacts of COVID-19 pandemic will not be immediate for many families in the region, and that with many families, they're living paycheck to paycheck today. And as a result, their risk of slipping into homelessness remains and is even greater than before. We're going to have an opportunity to learn more about this morning about exactly how your dollars, our dollars, that are being donated are going to make a difference in this area of homelessness. And with that comment, I'd like to introduce Bill Rang from Webster Bank, which is our technology sponsor, to come up to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see everybody here live, and really appreciate everybody's involvement and contributions. So thank you, Mark, and congratulations to Alan Lazowski on receiving this terrific award. Alan really exemplifies what the Jeff Diegel Award is all about and has made significant contributions in our community. I'm Bill Rang. I'm Executive Vice President of Commercial Real Estate at Webster Bank. At the bank, we are very proud of our longtime partnership with the United Way and thrilled to be among the lead sponsors for this event. United Way brings together people and resources to address immediate needs and find long-term solutions in the area of homelessness. United Way works in two ways. The first is to prevent homelessness from ever occurring by providing rent and utility assistance so that people may stay in their homes. Secondly, should adults and families become homeless, United Way ensures coordination of services so that people in need of shelter or safety due to domestic violence get it quickly and are able to move into stable housing as soon as possible. This is what United Way and its partners achieved together this past year. Nearly 5,000 people avoided homelessness. Nearly 1,000 individuals received emergency shelter due to homelessness or domestic violence. More than 25,000 people in our region to United Way 211 for rent, mortgage, and shelter assistance. Numbers are great, but let's hear from some of the people who are part of this work. I've always wanted to say this. Let's go to the video. Thank you, everybody.
South Park Inn has been partnering with United Way for many years, and our partnership is really around providing shelter services for folks who are homeless in the city of Hartford.
Particularly for Journey Home, our work supports our entire emergency shelter system. So all of our partner agencies and also all of the clients, all of the people who are experiencing homelessness, our work supports the entire system. And so we're just so grateful that United Way gets that and they understand.
The shelter providers in Hartford we're all part of the Coordinated Access Network, which is the CAN, and we all partner really well with each other.
We're just truly grateful to be a recipient of United Way funding because the United Way partnership means more than just receiving some dollars every year or every few months. It's really more about having a strong partnership with the whole community and being acknowledged and affirmed that our work is really important. We also rely heavily on private landlords, on the real estate sector to be able to house so many of the people that are experiencing homelessness. We could not do the work that we're doing without our private landlord partners who house hundreds of people every year. And while we're able to provide some rental assistance and case management services to support those individuals and families, we couldn't do it without our real estate partners who provide the units for us.
Our state contracts don't fully fund us. And so the work around United Way and the partnership with United Way really helps to sort of bridge that gap. And that's how United Way helps us. And that's how people's donations and contributions to the United Way helps all of our organizations. Like, we need to be whole so that we can help our guests be whole in this world. And we can't do it alone. We can't do it by ourselves. So the partnership is really critical to all of our success.
The next morning I got a call and they were like, we got a room. I didn't know what to expect, and I came here and I was interviewed by a crisis counselor. She told me all these things and helped me and asked me questions. Slamming doors, yep. Taking money, yep. Name calling, yep. Telling me what to wear, yep. So this little checklist, and I was like, that's abuse. Whenever I needed somebody was here to listen. Whenever I needed help, someone was here trying to help. Now they are great. They're thriving in school. My oldest son, he found his voice and he's not scared. My middle son, he feels comfortable in who he is. And my little one, he is challenging at times because I think he has some characteristics of his dad. So we learn by what we see. That's scary. But it also shows me that I made the right decision. They're gonna be okay. It doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor, it doesn't matter. Anything is possible. I'm happy and I'm not scared.
Incredible stories here. And before I get into my comments, I just want to say this is a powerful group making a powerful statement by being here. We're all busy, and you're here for a bigger purpose today. So thanks for being here. Give yourselves a hand for being here. So in face of great need, it's more important than ever to be united. And being united as an industry is what this event is all about. Hello, I'm Dave Sewell from Smith Brothers. I'd like to acknowledge some tremendous partners who work to address and prevent homelessness who are here today. And if you could please stand up if you're part of these groups. Journey Home, Interval House, Salvation Army, and YWCA. I guess the last three groups are kind of shy. They're still sitting down. Next, we'd like to honor the legacy of our colleague and friend, Jeff Diegel, by presenting our first ever Jeff Diegel Award to a leader in our industry. But first, let's take a moment to remember our friend and colleague. Most of us in this room would call Jeff our friend, Many of us would call Jeff our best friend. And that's because Jeff was the type of person that made everyone feel important and valued. We're going to hear from a few of Jeff Diegel's best friends today as part of our awards presentation. Please join me in welcoming Marshall Rubin, a presenting sponsor of today's event.
Nice music. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for all being here. Jane and Nikki, I'm honored to be here and speak on behalf of Jeff. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. You're going to hear a lot today about how big a heart Jeff Diegel had. And I would just like to add my own bit about how big a mind he had. I was privileged to meet him when I first moved to Hartford 30 years ago, and I was his lawyer from the time I met him until he passed. And he was hands down the smartest, most capable real estate investor and friend I could possibly imagine having. I'm sure that people in this room who knew him, who were blessed to know him, feel the way I do. Some of you are in this room. John Zolte's here, Bill Rang is here. There's people, he's missed. It's a lesser world without him. And the fact that we're all here today to support causes he cared so much about is just the best possible testament we could have to benefit our friend. And there's no other way for me to describe it. I'm just going to quote John Kennedy, and if you don't mind, I'm going to read this because I want to get it right. There was a Nobel Prize dinner at the White House. President Kennedy said, right at a toast, "I think this is the most extraordinary collection of talent, of human knowledge that has ever been gathered together at the White House, with the possible exception of when Thomas Jefferson dined alone." And I feel that way about this crowd and my friend Jeff Diegel. I would put him up against this whole crowd collected, myself included. And I miss him. And once he graduated retired from being a full-time investor, he could very easily have just played golf and skied, which he did and very well. But he devoted his time and his energy to building Covenant Prep into the extraordinary institution it is today and providing opportunities to underserved communities in Hartford. It's a legacy that is incomprehensible to me, the level of involvement of the Diegel family, ongoing generational love and affection for this community, which is why we're all here today. And without further ado, I'd like to play the videotape.
Every day with Jeff was like a jolt of adrenaline. He was continuously upbeat, enthusiastic, extremely welcoming of everybody.
Like humble isn't even a word used to describe like a man like that. I think he was always like so like open and friendly and charismatic that you didn't really see like the machine that was like his brain going on.
What's really amazing is how many people, and I'll bet several of you in this room or in this category, who thought they were Jeff's best friends. Because Jeff was everybody's best friend.
I was his best friend, but everybody else was his best friend.
He was sincere. He was, like you said, everybody's best friend and not phony.
Every one of us said he was our best friend. Jeff had that way about him. He made everybody feel special.
I'm not sure he'd want the award in his name. He'd want the proceeds to go where they're going.
The fact that the community is coming together to deal with the issue of homelessness and to support Covenant Prep would bring tears to Jeff's eyes.
I didn't know Jeff in the building trades, but he certainly was building in the community. He helped build the community.
I'd like to introduce another one of Jeff's best friends, Marty Kenny, who will introduce yet another one of Jeff's best friends, Alan Lazowski. So take it.
Good morning. I'm actually not Marty Kenny.
You're lucky.
Wow. I am overwhelmed this morning. It's so great to see you all live, and thank you for being here. As the committee began our planning to honor the first recipient of the Jeff Diegel Award, we knew that it was most important that the person receiving this award embodied those characteristics you just saw: a commitment to the profession and leveraging people to benefit the community. And I don't know if we could have picked a better person. Actually, I do know we could not have picked a better person than to honor that award than Alan Lazowski. At this time, I would like to introduce Marty Kenny of Lexington Partners in Innicon. Marty, one of my best friends, is a presenting sponsor of this year's event and a great friend to both Jeff and Alan. Marty?
Thank you very much, Mike. This is really a great honor for me. These two people, Jeff Diegel and my partner, a longtime friend for 36 years, Alan Lazowski, to honor him today is a very special honor that I take very seriously. I kind of want to just talk a little bit about Alan and Jeff and some of the similar characteristics that they had. But first, I'd like to tell you how I met Al Laz. I was in my late 20s. He was maybe 26, 27. And we were working, 26? Memory's hazy. And Alan was going to lease a parking garage that I was developing with my father and Simon Conover. And I was new to the business. Alan, this was his big mark. It was the old Talcott Plaza parking garage, 1,000 spaces. And the favorite at the time was a guy by the name of Mike Schwartz, who dominated Hartford parking, knew all the insurance guys. He was the inside man. Alan was the young guy who was hustling to get far, and boy, did he ever. So I had the opportunity to meet Alan at that point in time. We had some spirited negotiations, and I fell in love with the guy. His never say never, never give up, always had another idea to make things work. We struck a hard bargain with him. He had to come up with a letter of credit at his young age, which was not an easy thing. And but the way he handled himself through that time, I knew we would be friends forever. And that's how I met Alan. I met Jeff a year later. He was a lender, and ultimately Alan, Jeff, and I got involved in a deal in the early 90s, which my father, who was my mentor, thought we were crazy about. We bought 25 environmentally challenged mortgages, and we bought them at 10 cents on the dollar. And Jeff loved this because the bank was the bank where he had worked at were writing these things off when it made no sense. And we worked together, and because we were not a bank, there was always the possibility that we could actually take back the property. And we settled up with every mortgagor and achieved a multiple of 5 times of what we invested in it in about a year and a half. So it was a really wonderful experience, and I just couldn't get enough working with those folks. When my dad died in 2007, I sort of took stock. As a real estate developer, you don't really know, you don't have many people to bounce things off of. It's not a big support group as a real estate developer. And the two people that I could always turn to were Jeff Diegel, Jeff with the easy smile, always a ready laugh. But then in a nanosecond, he would pinpoint the Achilles heel of whatever I was looking at. He made me so much better, smarter. And the other person who did the same was Alan Lazowski, who just has such a great business sense, such a great sense of people. Those guys both elevated my game. And, to watch Alan's growth has been incredible. What do these guys both have in common? They're great leaders. When they walk in the room, people know they got it going on. Their energy is positive, never negative. Alan's an amazing person in a room. I've never seen anything like it. People love him. He's hugging everybody. It's not a stick. It is real, and not many can do that. Both those guys, strategic thinkers, problem solvers, super analytical. When you think about Alan, who walked away from his college degree, which the rabbi is still mad at him till this day, the intelligence to watch Alan grow as a person, as a leader, and as a thinker has been really amazing. Both these guys have skills that I have none of, and that's called diplomacy skills. Right, team? Both Jeff and Alan bring people together, people that have different viewpoints, coming from different places. They bring people together instead of bringing them apart. It's a gift, and Alan has been incredible on that basis. Relentless communicators. If you ever saw a day in the life of Alan Lazowski and you're worried that you're not getting a call back from him, if you only understood the people he touches in a day. He gets up at 4 in the morning and he starts communicating with his partners in Europe. By 7:30, he's talking to close partners here. He then goes into the workday from 8 to 5. Then he's checking in with his Midwest offices. Then he's in the Pacific at 11 o'clock at night. His ability to communicate is unbelievable. His stamina to do that, I just have so much respect for, and I've seen it. And I tell him after 7, I'm done. Not Al. Alan's loyalty to his friends, his workers, his family is by far the best, as was Jeff. Both these guys would much, much rather give to others rather than receive for themselves. Alan's great joy is giving, and I've seen it again and again. Just an example, his favorite holiday is Halloween. Why? He gets about 4,000 or 5,000 kids that come to his home in the West End to get these big chocolate candy bars. And all Al wants to do is hand it out and see the smiles on those faces. I've seen him at company parties when he buys flat screen TVs for the workers that they raffle off. One time, he was having so much fun, he sent somebody out to get 10 more so he could give them away. It's extraordinary, the love of giving. And of course, Jeff was the same thing. Both Jeff and Alan have amazing father figures in their life. Alan's dad, the rabbi, a Holocaust survivor with an unbelievable story that you might hear later on. And of course, his mom as well. The rabbi has written a number of books, including Faith and Destiny. He's been the spiritual leader here in Hartford for over 55 years. No matter what Alan does, it's a hard measure up for what the rabbi, Philip Lazowski. Let's hear it for Philip Lazowski, please. A great man. And Jeff's dad, and I never met Jeff's dad, but Jeff has told me many stories, and he was a small-town banker in western Pennsylvania. When Jeff spoke of him, all I had in my mind was George Bailey and It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart. I mean, he was that kind of leader in his community, and I think that's something that Jeff naturally took to. Finally, the love of Hartford. Both Jeff and, of course, Alan love our city, love our state. Alan, you know, in 2007, when Laz Parking took over the entire Chicago parking system and off-site parking, a lot of guys would have just moved to Chicago, right? It's where the bulk of the business was. Alan actually doubled down in Hartford at a time when, you know, it was tough around here. We were in a recession. He lives in Hartford. He loves the city. He's invested money where he has real estate opportunities as a parking person. He sees good real estate all over the country, but he bets on Hartford, and he's here when many corporations, quite frankly, are not. It's an amazing tribute, and I love him for that. I just want to wrap up, and I'm sorry I'm taking so much time, but kill me. But the last story is one of the most amazing feats of entrepreneurship in this country. I think what he has done is probably rivals people like Samuel Colt and at least Clayton Gengras here in Hartford, who was active in the 60s and 70s. You know, Al started his business with a two-person valet parking service when he was at Summer at Yukon, in front of the old Frank's restaurant, which is where Max Downtown sits. Today, they're the second largest parking operation in the United States and easily the fastest growing parking company in the US. Anyone who knows anything about parking knows that Laz Parking is the gold standard, and they are sure to be the biggest in the country soon. Even after the pandemic, 12,219 employees operating in 38 states in 453 cities with 3,470 locations and 1.3 million parking spaces nationwide. That's a long way from a valet operation, really is. Laz managed $1.4 billion in annual revenue last year despite the pandemic. When you look at the Laz organization, what's amazing to me, especially when you consider all the entry-level positions, is the employee retention rate at Laz is one of the highest around. It's a phenomenal thing because the Laz organization is not an organization, it's a family. And they live it, they preach it, they teach it to everybody. And two examples of this come to mind. A couple years ago, there was a cleaning person in 15 Lewis Street who was cleaning the tables and the garbage. His name was James Lopez, and he emigrated from Colombia. And he was actually, as Alan found out, because Alan usually starts talking to people, anybody who's there after 6, they got Alan all night, because he's on the phone. So this gentleman, James Lopez, Alan learned that he was actually an accomplished accountant in Colombia. So Alan said to him, he says, I don't want you to clean my space, I want you to clean my books. And today, James Lopez is a member of Laz's accounting staff, which to me says so much. Another person, his name is Sinte Teju, who he was at the garage that I developed at Trumbull on the Park. We now call it Spectre on the Park. Sinte, who's from Africa originally, was one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. He'd be out at 4:30 in the morning when he had a crew shoveling snow, just relentless worker. In 2015, he had a stroke, and it really compromised him. He thought he was going to lose his job, his benefits. Sente today works at Laz 2 days a week. He gets therapy 3 days a week. He's been on the salary the whole time with bumps like nothing ever happened. That's the way well, you guys call it the Laz way, and it's an impressive thing. What else can I say? I just want to introduce my friend, and I want everybody to get up and give him a great round of applause for the first recipient of the Jeffrey Diegel Award.
I love you.
I asked Marty to stay with me for 1 minute here because I just want to tell you how much I love you. You took all my time away from me. Now I can't even say my words. But it's been an unbelievable honor and pleasure to be your partner and dear best friend for the last 36 years. What you do for our community, what you do for our real estate industry deserves a big round of applause. Let's hear it for Marty.
Thank you so much.
And the whole Lexington team. Wow, thank you all for being here today. It's great to see so many friends and colleagues. This is perhaps the largest real estate gathering in the past 2 years, and that deserves a big round of applause. We're all together. I want to give a special shout out to a few people. My dear, dear friend and the best treasurer that this state of Connecticut has ever had by far is here, Sean Wooden. Let's hear it for Sean. And our great mayor who's done so much to move Hartford forward. You're amazing, Luke. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Let's hear it for Luke. Mayor Luke. I want to give a special shout out to our Laz family members that are here. As Marty mentioned, we're only as good as the people we have working with us, and that's true in any company. And we have people that give of themselves for not only for our company, but for our communities that we serve throughout the country. I thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you all for being here. If you guys can just give a quick stand up. The Laz family that's here today, let's recognize them. Everyone at the table. I'm truly honored to be the recipient of the Jeffrey Diegel Award. Firstly, because I loved and admired Jeff. I'm so glad that his wife Jane and Nikki are here. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you. Everyone in our community that knew Jeff adored him. He was an infectious guy who loved to make deals. He was a prolific deal maker, full of integrity and honor. He was brilliant, funny, witty, energizing. He loved to travel. He loved the outdoors. He loved spending time with his family. He had such a special curiosity and a deep connection to everyone he met. He always loved to look at the good in people. He's what I call a conscious capitalist leader. He was everyone's best friend, as we've heard, but he believed that you could do well in business by doing good. He believed in elevating humanity through business, and he believed in taking care of all his stakeholders, especially our Greater Hartford community and Covenant Prep. In his memory and in honor of Jeff, who is smiling down on us today, let's give his family a big standing ovation. For his family, for Jeff, for this award. Thank you. I'm so glad that we're all coming together here this morning. I see my friend over there, Jeff Hoffman. I want to recognize Jeff Hoffman. Give him a round of applause. Another best friend of Jeff Diegel. But as an industry, we're all here to raise resources in order to prevent children and families from becoming homeless and to secure stable housing for those living in shelters. When I think back about my own family story and my own family history, I'm reminded about my mom and dad's survival of the Holocaust. And my dad was born in a small village in Poland called Belica in 1930. I've had the honor of being back there 3 times with my family. It's like going back in time. Beautiful fields and streams, stone houses, thatch roofs. His father was a fisherman that had a business that had a 10-kilometer lease on the Neman River that ran right through this beautiful little town. There were 2,000 people that lived in this village. Half were Jewish and half were Polish. My dad's family, his mother was also a prolific businesswoman. She had a fabric business, and they were quite well off for their town. They were in charge of giving charity to the town. They always had a pot of soup in front of their house for people traveling through that were hungry. They believed in feeding the hungry, and they did a lot of charity and good deeds for their town. My father was the oldest child. He had 3 brothers and a sister. And in 1941, his world changed. It got turned upside down. At 11 years old, the Nazis invaded this village, burnt down his house, gathered all the Jews they could find. They took the rabbi of his town and 36 other people, made them wash their horses, drink the dirty water till they all vomited, cut their beards, made them dig their own graves, and killed those 36 people in front of everyone, and made everyone walk with the shirts on their back 20 kilometers to a Jewish ghetto, a slave labor camp in a town called Deagle. My father, as I mentioned, was the oldest child. He had 3 brothers and a sister. He watched his brother get shot in the back. His mother got killed. 2 brothers and a sister got killed. He escaped into the woods, and miraculously, he found his father and 1 brother, and they lived in the woods for over 2 years. Starvation, disease, 40 degrees below zero in caves, partisan fighting. 80% of the people that went into those woods did not survive. They froze to death. They died by starvation. He came out like a skeleton at 15 years old with his father and 1 brother. There were 5,000 people that lived in the Deagle ghetto initially. Only 200 of those people survived by living in the woods, and my father, his brother, and his father were 3 of those 200. He came out like a skeleton at 15 years old. He went to Austria to a displaced persons camp, and in 1947, he was trying to get into Israel, but he could not get into Israel because it was still under British mandate, and he got sponsored by a distant relative to come to Brooklyn, New York. So he came to the United States at 17 years old, no money, 10 jobs, started becoming religious as part of his experience and started studying, or more religious, and started studying to become a teacher and a rabbi. Brooklyn High School, he graduated high school in a year and a half, Brooklyn College, Yeshiva University. He came to Hartford when he was 23 years old for the first time. He was at a wedding of some survivors of his town, and he was sitting at a wedding table, and there was a beautiful girl at the table telling everybody a story about friends of hers from Hartford, Connecticut, that saved a little boy from our town in a selection line facing death. My father, at one point at the ghetto, was separated from his mother, father, 3 brothers, and a sister, and he was forced to go into this selection line, and he was lucky enough to get saved by a woman that had a nursing certificate, which meant life, instead of him going to the line to die. Well, when he was sitting at that table, he heard that story and he cried out, "I'm that boy, where are those people?" And 3 weeks later, he went up to Hartford to meet that nurse that saved his life, and she had 2 little girls in that line with her. One was 7 and the other girl was 5, and he ended up marrying the 7-year-old, my mother, Ruth Lazowski. Dad, you've been the greatest spiritual leader in our community for the last 65 years. And you've lived the American dream. And not only that are you one of the greatest leaders in our community, but also the state and our country. If you saw or heard a day in the life of the rabbi, it would just be amazing to you. And I'll just tell you one story over the last couple days. I was with him. He had a funeral to do, a eulogy on Sunday, and they were supposed to do it on Monday, but they changed it to Sunday, so he was up till 2:30 in the morning writing the eulogy. He got up at 5:30 that day to go to synagogue and pray. He did the funeral. He got picked up from the funeral to go to New Haven to speak to 250 people about survival of the Holocaust in New Haven. He came back that evening to do an event for Voices of Hope. And then it started over the next day. And Dad, we're so honored at 91 years old that you're so strong and with us. Let's hear it for Rabbi Lazowski. Dad, I know how important it is to you to help people. If someone asked you how many letters you get in the mail of charity that come out of your rabbi's fund every month, what would you say? There are at least a couple hundred. But I know how important it is for you to prevent homelessness, to stop people from being hungry. So in your honor, and for this award right here, that we're all going to dedicate this award to you, and in your honor, we're going to donate an additional $10,000 from our family foundation in your honor for this award. Thank you all for honoring our family, and thank you for all the great work that you all do to build our community and for all your goodness and kindness. I want everyone to remember in sort of the rabbi's words that anything's possible in life. We should never, ever give up. And when we all have a chance to bring our humanity to the moment, we just do it. And I now have the honor to call our co-chairs back on stage, Mike, Dave, and Mark. I think they're going to inspire us to do a little bit more, to give a little bit more. And so let's hear it for the United Way team, and let's hear it for our great co-chairs.
One more round of applause for Alan. Wow, that's a tough act to follow. So I knew that this real estate community was amazing, and I couldn't be prouder to be part of this group. But today, at this event, we've proved it 100 times over. So I want to thank all of you for stepping up when we're facing challenges due to the pandemic. But the funds we raise today will really make a meaningful difference. And we have the sponsor logos. I want to again thank all of our sponsors. We had 80 sponsors. Think about that, 80 sponsors for this event today. It's amazing. think you're going to talk about it.
So this year we have nearly 80 sponsors from this group that have been very, very supportive. And to this point, we've raised, through the sponsorships, about $350,000. And as a group, we've got a few more people in the room here. We're going to try to push this over 400,000. In fact, I think we just got another 10,000.
That's right. We're at 360.
So, yeah. So we can get there in little bites or big bites. It depends on how we want to get there, but we're going to get there. So we're going to start raising some money here.
That's right. When we started this event, planning for this event, our goal was to raise $400,000. But we need your support right now to get there. So take out your phones, text HOME 22 to the number 41444. You will immediately receive a link and an automated response to complete your donation. Once you get the link, click through, choose the amount, and complete the form.
That's probably worth repeating one more time in terms of who the text goes to.
Yeah, the text goes to, it's on the screen there, text goes to HOME22, text HOME22 to 41444. If you prefer to donate in a different way, there are cards at the table. You can fill out one of those donation cards and hold it up high, and we'll collect that. And we invite you to give at whatever level is most comfortable. We need to get to this 400,000, so we need your help.
It's 41444.
Alan, are you trying to do it?
I'm trying to do it here.
You get.
I'm going to start calling people out, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's do this the old-fashioned way. Marty, how much more are you giving? How much? $5,000. Let's hear it for Lexington. Anyone else want to? Is that, what did you say, Jeff? $5,000 for the Hoffmans. Let's hear it. All right. Thank you, Coleman. By the way, we're at $21,000 more towards our goal right now. Janice Fleming, the most amazing leader in Hartford. Janice Fleming, let's hear it. $1,000 for the rabbi. Tom. Another $1,000 for the rabbi. Who's keeping count here? Who's the accountant in the room? Thank you. Liberty Bank, $5,000. Dave Glidden. If you guys need a great banker, go see him in the corner. He's amazing. Thank you, Dave. Anybody else? Scott Consoli. $1,000 for the rabbi. What's that? Another $1,000 for the rabbi. Suzanne Pincus is the chairperson of Connecticut for the Anti-Defamation League. She's also involved in the National Anti-Defamation League, and she actually is a huge proponent and donator to Journey Home. So thank you to the Pincus family.
We just had virtually, Smith Brothers just gave $10,000.
All right, let's hear it for Smith Brothers. Yes. Exactly, Matt. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Rabbi, you're a good luck charm today. You're raising all sorts of money.
Thank you, Matt. Someone holding up a card? Thank you,
$1,000 from Ion Bank Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, NBT Bank. Thank you.
The Stein family is giving $1,000 in honor of the rabbi. keeping count here?
We're at almost 370,000.
Oh, I think we have more than that. Come on, someone's got to add up better.
We need your accountant.
Come on. Who's the accountant in the room here? We got Mark Consoli. Okay, anyone else? I know we're close to 400. From? All right.
Abner Crone, thank you very much.
In honor of the rabbi.
Rabbi, can you come back next year?
The rabbi, they want to recruit you for next year. Okay.
Thank you.
I think we're over 400. I really do. We are.
We are over.
Way to go, everyone. Great job. Woo!
Look at the board, over $402,000. That's fantastic.
And last but not least, we want to thank our event steering committee that was made up of incredible leadership. I'd like to especially thank Mark Duclos, who couldn't be here today. He's traveling. Melissa Ferrucci, Nando Peretti, Brian Zellman, and Bill Rank for their tremendous efforts in this event, which made it a success. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the whole team from United Way. Maura Cook and several of our team members were absolutely incredible in herding us cats. So now it's my pleasure to introduce a leader in a community who has been so supportive of this effort from the start. Please join me in welcoming Luke Bronin, City of Hartford.
Good morning, everybody. If you haven't been back yet, welcome back to the Convention Center in the Hartford Marriott. It is so good to see everybody in person. I will try to be brief, but there are a few things that I wanted to say. First of all, it is an honor to be here, to be part of the award of the first Jeff Diegel Award. Although I don't know that I could have counted him as a best friend, I was a deep admirer of his. His commitment to this community was extraordinary. His commitment to the kids whose lives he changed through Covenant Prep was extraordinary. And every time, as you heard from so many other people, every time I was with him, I came away with just a sense of energy and enthusiasm and love that he had for so many people. And I'm grateful also that my kids get to call his son one of their teachers now. So it's an honor to be here for that, and it's a tremendous honor to be here on the day that that award is given to somebody with the biggest heart in Hartford, Alan Lazowski. We all know that the rabbi is a great spiritual leader. I would say that he is not the only Lazowski who is a great spiritual leader. Alan Lazowski makes people believe in themselves, makes Hartford believe in itself, makes people believe in Hartford. There is nobody with a deeper commitment to this city or a more palpable compassion and love for everybody he encounters. And we're here today largely to raise funds to try to prevent homelessness. And there are extraordinary organizations that do that work, and I'll say a little bit more about that in a second. But there are lots of ways that homelessness is prevented. One of those ways is the fact that Laz Parking employs, I think, 500 people just in the state of Connecticut who have criminal records, who have barriers that for many, many people would prevent them from building a life, finding a job that allows them to get stable housing. That's the real solution to the challenge of homelessness, is giving people a second chance, helping them to see the path, believing them, committing to them, and lifting them up. So thank you, Alan, for all that you do, and that's just one very small piece of what you do. I'm so grateful to this Industry Association for focusing on homelessness. It's been necessary for a long, long time. Your support has been valuable for a long, long time, but we know that over the past couple of years, that challenge has gotten even bigger. And that's because of all the economic disruptions of the pandemic. But right now, we are seeing what many predicted we would see, which is a dramatic rise in evictions in the wake of that pandemic. And as rents rise, prices go up, it becomes even harder for so many families. And so thank you for all the support that you've collectively given to that effort. Our organizations work here with a collaboration that is rare. And whether it's United Way, Journey Home, Interval House, Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness, they work hand in hand. When we talk about a coordinated access network, they really work hand in hand, but they need this support to do that work. So I'm grateful to all of you for that support, but I want to make one last pitch, which is I hope that you feel that same sense of mission, not just about your philanthropic contributions today to support that hugely important philanthropic work, but that you feel that same sense of mission about your business and the work that you do. Because as we work to recover the momentum that we had coming into 2020 and the energy that we felt coming into 2020, we need you. We've got a lot of development happening in this city. You can see the buildings going up at downtown North around the ballpark. You can see what Lexington Partners and Laz and Shelburne are doing. You've got the RFQ out right now for Bushnell South, which will be one of the most important developments in this city in generations. You've got stuff happening in Parkville, 3580 Main Street, Albany Avenue, across the city. But we need you to be part of those projects, to look for opportunities. You've got an amazing person in Mike Freemuth who will help make projects that otherwise don't work. You got somebody here who will always answer the phone and try to make it happen with you. But I say that because those deals aren't just about a good business deal. We have a chance to turn this city into the place that we all want it to be. And I don't know that there's any group we could convene that could play a bigger, more direct role in doing that. So I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. It's great to see you all in person. I'm so grateful for the chance to steal this podium for a little bit longer this morning and say all those things. And again, Alan, to you, congratulations. Thank you. God bless you for what you do. And to the Diegel family, it is an honor to be with you, to honor a great man. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Mayor Bronin. It's wonderful to have you here at this event. Good morning, everyone. My name is Vicki Pace, and I am proud to be the chair of the United Way Board of Directors. I'm thrilled to be here with you today, this morning, for this event. I wanted to personally thank you all for your dedication and your collective efforts to prevent and address homelessness. It's an incredibly important cause in our area. Your dedication and your connection to the cause and to one another, frankly, is truly, truly inspiring. I also want to acknowledge the support of so many, led by our 4 presenting sponsors, Laz Parking, Lexington Parkers, Marshall Rubin, and Trammell Crow Residential. I'd also like to thank Webster Bank as serving as our technology sponsor. Alan, congratulations on being our first ever Jeffrey Diegel Award recipient, and to the entire Diegel family who are with us today, thank you for being a part of this special event. All of our sponsors and event committee members were steadfast in their commitment to making this event happen in spite of the postponement. And so it's so wonderful to see you all here in person, recognizing the importance of this work and raising awareness, and importantly, equally as importantly, the resources to make this all happen. I'd like to thank again our exceptional chairs, Ed Kindlen, Mark Fasington, Mike Riccio, Dave Sewell, and Mark Duclos. I would love to see you all also at our next United Way event, which is coming up in June on the 16th at Power of the Purse, right across the way at the Convention Center. Love to see the power of this group helping us there to continue to raise money and dollars for our community. And with that, I would like to introduce you to the newest CEO and president of the United Way, Eric Harrison.
Thank you, Vicki, and what an inspirational morning. It is just really remarkable. And Al, congratulations again. Just a remarkable story. You might know that I am relatively new to this community. Became president and CEO of United Way of Central and Northeastern Connecticut in February of this year. Interesting time of the year to move from California. But I have been part of the United Way network for much of my career, serving most recently as the president and CEO of United Way of Ventura County, where we had a very large focus on homelessness. I'm incredibly impressed by and grateful for the energy and dedication of this industry to preventing and ending homelessness. And I have to say, I was so struck in hearing everyone's comments on Jeff Diegel's ability to really connect with people, and later inspired by Al's story on the why. And it's something I talk about with my team a lot, why. What is your why? And I just encourage everyone to think about that today as you leave. The why that drives Al to give back in the way that he does. So congratulations again. So if you pledged and you gave via text or card, that's great. But also if you did make a pledge and you have not completed that text donation or filled out that pledge card, you can stop by the help desk and just write out a check or fulfill that payment as well. So for those who gave $1,000 or more today during today's event, there is more information on United Way's leadership giving societies, and that's going to provide members an opportunity to network and connect with leaders just as yourselves to philanthropy. So please check that out if you haven't already. Those cards are on your table. And I hope you've been really inspired by this morning. I know that I have, and we're just really excited that we have exceeded our goal of $400,000. So give a big round of applause. 416. And I am very competitive by nature, so I will let you know that Boston raises $3 million at this breakfast. So come on, we got to give it up a little more too. We got some time, but just incredible generosity. I am so proud to be here. I'm inspired to be here. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.